Serve it, ancient city style. Talk it out, babble on, battle for your life.
Well, my next guest wants to remind the world that Lady Gaga's Chromatica album may well be gaining rave reviews, but yet it's simply another in a long list of examples where Gaga is far more pale imitation than original genius. And not only is Gaga a cheap fake, but according to Albie, she's also overplaying the victim card big time. Albie, also known as Madonna. G'day, Albie.
Hi, Tim. How are you?
I take it you're not a fan of Chromatica.
Well, I'm not a fan of the woman in general, so technically, you're right. I wouldn't be a fan of Chromatica. One of the tracks, I believe, is called Babylon. I heard a snip, and there she goes, copying the bass line of Vogue. Literally, you just need to hear 30 seconds of it, and it's obviously Vogue. It's like a blind person obviously can hear that.
When you say she overplays the victim card, I know that Lady Gaga has told her story about being bullied and having a difficult, especially teenage years. I've heard that for many years during the promotion of nearly every album, to be honest. What do you mean by the fact that she's playing the victim card?
Well, I feel like she bullied, going back to Madonna, I feel like she bullied her when Madonna always praised her talent, praised her singing, and praised her looks. At the beginning of Gaga's career, and I was a big Gaga fan from the beginning. I even met her she played here in Hollywood when she first started the Fame album. I met her. She was a nice girl, but then something happened where she just literally just went against Madonna, obviously because of the reductive comment that Madonna made. But that's due into the fact that Lady Gaga didn't own up to her lie she told, saying Madonna's people emailed her saying Born This Way was appreciated by Madonna and she loved the song, because she was getting a lot of flack because that song sounded like Express herself. So she basically doubled down and said, oh, well, this actually is not inspired by Madonna. It's inspired by Whitney Houston. She brought in all these other people that it was inspired by. And then that's when the reductive comment came, actually a year later. And the reductive comment wasn't toward Lady Gaga, it was toward the song. Because in that interview where Madonna says it was reductive, before that comment, she mentioned that Gaga's a great singer, she's talented, amazing.
Yep.
So I don't know where people, Gaga especially, is saying that Madonna's bullying her. When after that interview happened, I remember Lady Gaga had her team post on social media just ridiculous off-base things about Madonna. And it was funny enough that Gaga didn't say one word. She had her team do slanderous stuff, especially a photographer that I think she still works with, slam her name and like spray paint like vulgar obscenities on this post that he made. And it was just ridiculous. I mean, if that's not bullying, if that's not insecurity, I don't know what is.
It does go two ways, doesn't it? I mean, Madonna's had a crack at Lady Gaga plenty of times, not to mention the most public of those was probably on tour when she did the mashup of the two songs.
Well, I mean,
brilliantly, She's Not Me.
That was the epic shutdown of it all. I mean, it was just the epic clapback. Imagine you performing your own song, Express Yourself, and mixing it with hers on stage, performing it nightly to a worldwide audience and taking it on tour and to sold out crowds. If that's not a queen, I don't know what is.
You write in your post on Facebook, Albie, that many things about Gaga are inconsistent and she gets away with a lot of crap that other female artists would be crucified for. And it continues today with the payola scams and inflated sales numbers. It's also the way she painted Madonna, a bully, all the while she was stealing her aesthetics, and many others like Bowie, Grace Jones and Björk, pretending she was inspired by someone else. Harsh words.
I mean, it's the truth. A lot of people agree with me, and I'm not looking for that agreement, but it's basically facts. It goes back to the beginning where she's copying Bowie's look, Grace Jones's hoodie, and to the point now If you look at Chromatica's packaging, she's copying also Bjork's Volnikora album packaging. It's basically the same pose, it's basically the same color scheme. She's doing it all over again.
But isn't
The
that
woman,
what we call a homage? I mean, I'm just playing devil's advocate here,
yeah.
Albie. I'm a big fan of Gaga. I'm a big fan of Madonna, as you know.
Oh,
But I
yeah.
mean, come on. I mean, Madonna surely is the ultimate at paying homage and taking inspiration from others. Frida Kahlo, Betty Davis, all the stars of the 30s and 40s. Madonna's whole 80s, 90s career is built upon taking little leaflets and sticky notes from other people's careers.
But the difference between a homage and blatantly copying is referencing those people. Madonna has referenced Marilyn Monroe, Marlene Dietrich, Frida Kahlo, and all her muses in every one of her works. Whereas Gaga, someone says, "Hey, this sounds like Madonna," and she goes, "What? No, it's my own creation. I'm the greatest songwriter on earth." And in an interview, Gaga has said that she's the greatest songwriter on earth. And if that's not ego, I don't know what is.
Wouldn't
Also,
her
I want,
tongue have been in her cheek, though? Madonna makes bold statements like that.
but the boldness, I mean, is this from a woman that's like, let's not hate on other women, let's not, um, let's not blast other people. Recently, she blasted Shakira and J-Lo for lip syncing before their Super Bowl, saying, "I hope I don't hear any lip syncing," which boggles my mind because when I heard that clip from Chromatica, that sounds like a plain old auto tune track to me from a woman who doesn't use anything for her voice or lip sync.
I
I
sort
see
of
you.
know where you're coming from a bit because, unlike Madonna, Gaga does take the high moral high ground. That Gaga does
she,
take the moral high ground. So I sort of see where you're coming from. So every
I
time she
just,
does have a crack at someone else,
she hides behind victim. She hides behind a cause. She hides behind, I'm bullied. I'm sick. I'm this. I'm that. Like it's a timing with her. Anytime someone calls her out, like when people called her out for recording with R. Kelly, she didn't say one word until the fans were flamed to her. And then all of a sudden she said, "I don't know what I was thinking while recording with him." Meanwhile, when she recorded that song with R. Kelly for Art Pop, she defended him knowing that he abused women. For a woman that says that I am for women and I was a victim of sexual abuse, for her to say, "Oh, I don't care what he's done. I'm going to record a song with him at the time. I was sexually abused." And then for her to like back down later, years later, when she's being blasted on Twitter, I feel that that is so cowardly. And this just shows a consistent behavior of her cowardness and her victimhood. So it's just admit it that you love Madonna. You've said it in your earlier career. Just stick with it. Why can't you just say, you know what, Madonna? Great, you think the song is reductive. I still love you. Why did you have to like use your team to bash Madonna, paint Madonna as this bully? Madonna's bullying me. She hates me. She said that. I was listening yesterday to the Howard Stern interview where Gaga said that Madonna hates me and Madonna's bullying me. That is so cowardly and so a
Elton
narrative
John
that she
says it
wants to
as
paint.
well.
Yeah, because well, and it's funny that she makes a friendship with Elton John after that happens, knowing, I mean, it's worldly now in the pop world, the Stan world, that Elton John is not a big fan of Madonna. He slammed her so many times, especially at the Golden Globes before the win of her song Masterpiece. And he had egg on his face when she won. When Madonna won that Golden Globe, he looked like a damn fool.
In your Facebook post, Albie, you continue and say, "Don't even get me started," when she put on blackface earlier in her career, and no one even called
Oh
her
my
out on
God.
it. Her shitty character shows, and I
And
don't like a bleep expletive with fakes, liars, hypocrites, thirsties, narcissists, backstabbers, aka, I love this word, gargoyle. Is that is that what the terminology is
Lady
for people who
Gargoyle.
support Gaga?
Lady Gargoyle. I mean, I'm just listing her attributes at that point. I mean, at that point, at that point where it came to my attention, she did the blackface when the R. Kelly thing happened when she was cornered, someone posted that, and I'm like, oh my god, she did do this because that was her Fame era, the Fame album, her debut, and she did that, I believe, in Germany. She had these two performance artists dressed up in blackface, and supposedly she was the quote unquote slave master. And reading that just made me disgusted. And reading that, like, even saying that again, that what's going on right now with racism going on in the world, it's just really disgusting. And I'm just surprised that people or her team have shut that down, have, like, shielded her from something that she has done. I mean, who in the right mind, especially, an aspiring pop singer and at that level in her fame, would do something like that? Like, that just comes from a mind that it's just very, very disturbing, and a very calculative person would do that.
A lot of what
Narcissist,
you say, Albie, suggests that there's a load of hypocrisy in Lady Gaga's words. Do you actually think she's
absolutely.
authentic? Is she authentic, though, in her messaging, which is love each other, be kind, spread love? Do you think
Well,
that she's authentic in that message?
I believe that she was authentic when I first became a fan of her music. I went to her concerts, and I've noticed that in every one of her concerts, a handful of concerts, she would just always preach to the audience, preach, love one another, this and that. Instead of singing and dancing, which she can't do, obviously, she's just preaching to the audience like she's just a head of a cult, and just doing this disingenuous speech every time. It was just like a scripted speech in every concert. And I'm sure, Tim, if you go to one of her concerts, you'll hear that speech. It just sounds so disingenuous for a person that's trying to create a public facade for people, yet behind closed doors is the woman who did blackface, is the woman who worked with R. Kelly and didn't say crap. And at the time when she should have, knowing that she was a sexually abused person, and to work with someone like that, and working with a photographer who is also known for pedophile allegations.
How has she copied Madonna over the years? Besides "Born This Way,"
Oh,
which is the one that
I mean,
everyone knows the most.
she's basically a tribute act to Madonna at this point. Um,
Really?
well, obviously, if you've seen the Alejandro video, that's one main video where she's obviously copied the Vogue video with the black and white and the stance. She's worked with many of Madonna's people, Stephen Klein, director, and a lot of her choreographers. Um, Born This Way, obviously the song she's copied. She's copied Perfect Illusion with Papa Don't Preach, the sample. She's copied every aesthetic you can know, every tour costume, Blonde Ambition, the cone bra. In interviews, she would wear the cone bra, the black glasses, and the iconic high ponytail. It's all over social media, and it's just very mind-boggling how people just want to say, hey, they took a picture at Madonna's after Oscar party and they're friends now, but I feel like it's just still simmering. I feel like it's odd to me. I'm just waiting for Gaga to, like, drop that other blow that she always says in interviews about, oh, Madonna hates me and all this. Here I am. She did me wrong. I'm nothing like Madonna. I'm my own artist. Good for you. If you're your own artist, that's great. But just stop copying her aesthetics and own up to it.
Final question, Albie. How can Lady Gaga set this right?
Make a decent album. make
Meow.
it make an album that's you, girl. I mean, Joanne flopped. You were trying to do a dance pop album with Chromatica. It just sounds like, based on that Babylon clip, like another house sounding album, which obviously, who's one of the queens of house is Madonna. Hello.
Albie, both Madonna and Gaga both preach the same message, which is speak up for what you believe in. And you've done that tonight.
I hope so. And I mean, I know I've said some grand statements and grand things, but hey, we've been saying it for years that Gaga is just literally a tribute act to Madonna, and a bad one, for that matter.
I love how outspoken you've been, Albie. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Tim. It's always been a pleasure doing your podcast.
Babble on, battle for your life, Babylon.